All right, I think we can get going here as people trickle in.
Okay, hello all. Welcome to our iPhone mirroring installation for referral partners and clinicians and practitioners. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, Nachum, who are we? If you are not familiar, Bridging Voice is a small but mighty team, 6 speech language pathologists, 1 occupational therapist, 3 programmers, and 1 amazing leader. We have worked with over 3,500 people with ALS in all 50 states and in 24 countries. Our specialization is customizations, innovations, mentorships for clinicians like yourselves, mentorship and education. Our services are always free and always remote.
Okay.
And so first this is you, Nahum.
I guess this is where I should, yeah, and then I'll hand it back as soon as I can.
Sounds good.
So thank you everyone for joining today. This is an interesting sort of tech training because it's literally a tech training. We're going to be showing everyone today how to install this iPhone mirroring system. Just before I start, I mention to everyone that this isn't complicated. No single part of what we're doing today and of this entire program is complicated. It's just that there are 5 or 6 different pieces going on at one time. And that's what introduces some complexity, because when you're trying to figure out why something isn't working, there are 3 or 4 different places to look. And we're going to go through this really well. We've even prepared a special video both for this training and a video that you can get a link to later on, which will give you the streamlined steps to install the iPhone mirroring successfully. The one thing that we all have to bank on at this point is that we've all done it many times, everyone from our team, and we really have been always successful. You can run into a problem once in a while. Worst case, one of our team understands what's going on. We'll be able to figure it out. Super worst case, we call Bob. Bob Paradiso is the one who created it, and he always gets us out of anything that we can't figure out. So it has already a good history. We'll talk about it later on. We have over 40 people using it. So no one should be scared of this training. It's going to be easy and it's going to work. And you're going to finally be able to tell your clients that, yes, you can use your iPhone completely, even with an eye tracking device, even with a head mouse. And you're really going to introduce a quality of life that people have been missing for many years. So anyone who wants to watch our previous training, which goes through in detail what exactly is our iPhone mirroring about, and go through the previous training. That's a great training. We're just going to go through a couple of the slides from the last presentation really quickly, just to catch everyone up. So the iPhone mirroring program that we've created has been a 2-year effort by Bridging Voice team and other partners as well. It's actually Bob Paradiso is on this call, is the person who's really spent the 2 years programming it, testing it, and making sure that this is something that we could deploy without worrying about it. We have over 40 Bridging Voice clients that have been testing it for about a year. Everyone is just so excited. And I think once you've set up your first client, see the smile on their face of getting their iPhone access back, you'll never want to turn back. It works with an iPhone 8 through all of the current models. We've tested it with those and with the current iOS versions. The software interface is built to be simple, user-friendly, but at the same time, we do have in the software a number of very advanced features which make it that it can work for someone who wants to use it in a basic way, or someone who is capable and wants to use it in an advanced way. And we're going to go through some of that, probably not too much today, Today is all about installing it. But there are a couple of features that we're just so excited about that we ourselves have just run into over the past week or two. So maybe we won't be able to hold that in. The iPhone mirroring works on any PC-based hardware. It works on the Tobii i-Series, the Smartbox, the Talk to Me Technologies, iGaze Edge, all of these here. And we should mention that we didn't test it with the Forbes devices, but there's no question it's going to work on there as well. It works on all of the different, as long as there's a Windows control software on that eye tracking device, the iPhone mirroring should work perfectly because that's all it is just a Windows software. It's two pieces of Windows software. And if you've got Windows control, then you've got access to our software as well. There's almost no reason in the world that this shouldn't work just like any other Windows software you're using on an eye tracking device. Okay, so what's needed to install? So the main thing, of course, is going to be this Bluetooth dongle from Adafruit. That is the picture here on the left side, this little dongle. It's a USB dongle, and just so that you understand what it is, this dongle allows us to make the eye tracking device an external keyboard and mouse to the iPhone. That's the whole story. The magic is really all in this dongle. And there's a software that has been created that goes onto this dongle, and that lets us connect to the iPhone and control it. So the dongle is the most important thing. Someone hopefully will put the link. We have the purchase guide that we'll be giving out a link to that so that you have everything on one document. So the Bluetooth dongle is the most important thing. It costs $15. It's made by Adafruit and usually arrives within 2 to 3 days. Sometimes it's available on Amazon, but they have been out of it for the last 2 or 3 months. The iPhone data cable is also, you need that in order for this to work. Most people have an iPhone data cable. If you have an iPhone, your iPhone came with a data cable. Problem is that data cables get lost or they get taken by teenage kids. So what you want to do is just want to make sure that you've got the dongle and the iPhone data cable, and then we can get things working. We are going to need to install a piece of software, an app on the iPhone, which is Visor. So you will need your Apple ID password in order to install that. And as we all know, sometimes finding the Apple ID password can take up your entire session. So it really, really is important for everyone to tell their clients before starting this process, make sure you've got those things on the left side ready to go. Now, if someone is planning on using their iPhone to do FaceTime calls, then they're really going to want to have a motorcycle mount next to their eye tracking device so that they'll be able to make video calls because you're going to be using the camera from the iPhone. That's important. It is also important if someone is really an independent user, then they'll need the motorcycle mount also in order to start the software on the iPhone even before it's mirroring on their eye tracking device. So there are a couple of compelling reasons to get that motorcycle mount. It really pays, but it's not crucial for that first phone call to set it up. They can still start using their iPhone mirroring without it. Someone may require a USB hub if the eye tracking device doesn't have 2 available USB ports. Now, we didn't explain this really well in the last training, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. But what's really important here is that you need to have a port for this dongle. This is a USB-A port, and that's going to have to go into your eye tracking device. Some devices may not come with any port that looks like the USB port on this dongle. So you're going to have something that may change, like this USB hub here on the right side can plug into a USB-C port, and it can give you that will support the dongle here on the left. So you need to have plugged into the device the dongle and the iPhone. So whatever data cable you have and whatever iPhone you have, make sure that you have a cable that will fit into the device you're using. And you can also fit the dongle in there as well. So choosing the USB hub can be a little bit complicated because you have to find out what they have, what iPhone they have, what cable they have, and what device they have. Some Microsoft Surfaces will only have a USB-C cable port on it. So that's why you need to know this. All of this is listed in our purchase guide, the different USB hubs that you may need to purchase. Okay, so let me tell you what we're going to do now. It's a little interesting. We have a video that we've created. Abby from our team has created a video that will go through the entire installation of this system from A to Z. It's a little bit lengthy. It's about 18 minutes long, but we're going to play this video because she did it wonderfully. It's nice and slow. You'll see every step. And we're going to give this video out so that you've got this one video that will give you all of the steps, describe everything in detail. And after we go through this video, then we're going to go through a little bit of highlighting some of the things in the video and questions and answers so that we can all have a discussion about anything that's unclear. And we're going to try to make it clear. Oh, I didn't share sound. I knew I wasn't going to do it. 1 second. Okay.
All right, I'm going to be demoing how to install the iPhone mirroring program from Bridging Voice. Here on my screen that I'm sharing, you can see that I have on the right side our guide for installing the iPhone or iPad mirroring. And on the left side, I am remoted into my eye tracking communication device so that I can do the setup on the device. In addition to this, I have my iPhone USB data cable, which you can see listed here. My iPhone uses a lightning port, so I have lightning to USB. Note that for some people who have a newer iPhone or iPad, you may actually need the USB-C to USB-A cord. So make sure you're getting the correct cable for the device that you're using. And then you also want to make sure that it's a data cable and not just a charging cable. It needs the ability to transmit data between the device and the phone. I also have my USB dongle here, you can see. So that's ready to go. And I also have my Apple ID for downloading the Visor app. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So to begin with the first instructions here, I'm going to install the mirroring program or Visor on the communication device, the eye tracking device. So I will open up a internet browser here and I will go to visor.io. I'll click download, choose Windows, and then download the install. You can see here that the installer is downloading. I'm going to go ahead and run it. Okay, and it has finished installing. So I'm going to go to step 3, which is to click on Apple mobile device support here, and then choose to download Apple mobile device support 64.msi. Again, it will download here, and then I'm going to open the installer, click through everything and let it install. There we go, it's finished. So now step 6, close browsers and visor. I'll X out of this and I'll X out of the visor program. Using the data cable, plug the phone into the USB port and I will plug into my phone. Okay, so now that they're plugged in, you can see that the eye tracking device has noticed that my iPhone is plugged in. You can't see it on the screen itself, but a pop-up did appear and I'm choosing trust this computer on the phone to give it permission. Now I will start visor and confirm I can see the red play button. Start visor on the SGD, I should say, and here it is. The play button is there. Note in the instructions, we're not to press the button yet. First, we need to install and start mirroring on the phone. So I will first download the Visor app from the App Store. Again, you can't see this as I do it on my phone, but I will open the App Store, type in VYSOR. Note that sometimes when you search for the app, it autocorrects to VISOR, so make sure that it's not doing that. It's using VYSOR, and it's downloading now. Okay, and now I will open the app, open the Visor app on my phone, and then as it says here, tap the circle at the bottom, the button near the bottom of the screen. So I'll tap the circle and tap Start Broadcast. Okay, my phone now says that it's broadcasting, so I'll go ahead and touch the red play button on the Visor app on the communication device. And here you can see my screen. Note, sometimes when this opens for the first time, you will get a prompt to calibrate your screen here. And note in the instructions that if it does ask you to calibrate in Visor, it'll be a green pop-up. And you want to cancel and don't calibrate within Visor. We're going to do a calibration using the iOS program from Bridging Voice. So now that my phone screen is mirroring, oh, just to show you quick, here's what the Visor app looks like when you open it. And here's the circle button at the bottom that you're pressing to start broadcasting. So mine is already, that's why it says stop. But when you're not broadcasting, you'll see start broadcast here. Okay, so I'm gonna go onto the SGD and download the iOS controller program, which is the Bridging Voice program that allows you to control your phone using eye tracking. You will typically go to a web page. This web page may be updated. So you'll go to a public web page to download this installer. For now, I am going to use a link that I have for the current version and download it here. Okay, the program has finished downloading, so now I will open and run it. Next, next, and we will create a desktop shortcut and install. And now that it's finished, I'll go ahead and close my browser and move this over so we can see that it has now, oops, sorry about that. We can see that it has now installed the iOS Control Desktop shortcut. And as the instructions say, I'm going to go ahead and open that. The first time you install the program, you will need to enter an email. This is just to register the app, but you won't be put onto a mailing list. It's just to make sure you have the most updated version of this software. Activate. Okay, now you can see here that I have my visor screen mirroring my phone, and I have the iOS control program from Bridging Voice. At the bottom, it's saying that the dongle is missing and the iOS device isn't connected yet. So going back to the instructions, that's what we'll do next. First, we're going to set up the dongle. So I will take the dongle and plug it into the USB port on my Tobii. Note that there is a small button on the dongle, but you don't need to press that button at all. You can just plug it in without pressing that. All right. My dongle is now plugged in. Okay. So next step is to go to settings in the iOS program here on the left, and then click on the dongle tab here across the top and choose update dongle. And you'll be able to see here when it's running that some text moves across the screen to let you know that it's working. There we go. The dongle update has finished and the dongle is found. So now I'm going to move to the next steps of setting up the iPhone Bluetooth settings to connect my phone to this dongle. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe to get out of the Visor app, open up my settings, and go to Bluetooth. And then here in the list, you can see that the Bridging Voice AT has already connected, and that's because I've connected before. But the first time you will need to touch it in order to tell it to connect to your phone. And then once it gets connected, you'll see over here on the iOS program that it says iOS device, Abigail's iPhone is now connected. If note in the instructions that after you pair it, if you notice that you don't see it under My Devices, you may need to, or if you have more than one showing, you may need to turn the Bluetooth off and back on to clear them out and then try to pair with it again. Okay, so once you're paired to the dongle, the next step is to adjust the settings in the phone to set up assistive touch. So here I'm going to go through these, each of these settings. I'm going to go back to settings and choose accessibility, and then tap on touch, and then tap on assistive touch at the top. And here I can turn it on with the toggle bar. Next, I'm going to scroll down and find tracking sensitivity. My assistive touch menu has been customized, so I'm going to say no here, but we will have some information about options for how to customize the assistive touch menu in our instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and slide down to the tracking sensitivity, which you can see here is the slider with the turtle and the hair, and we want it to be at about 50%, so I'll slide it over. And then finally, I'm going to look at the dwell control here and turn that off. So those are the settings under accessibility, touch, and assistive touch. Next, I'll go back to settings, and I'll again choose accessibility, but this time I'm looking for pointer control. Note that when the Bluetooth dongle is not connected, you won't see pointer control as an option in here. It hides that option, but because my Bluetooth dongle is connected, I can choose pointer control here. Increased contrast is already turned off, as it should be, and automatically hide pointer is also turned off. So those are the settings we need here. Next, I'm going to go to the color settings and make sure that my color is set to yellow. And then I'm also going to set the border width to the max here. So make it as wide as possible. So those are all the settings under pointer control and pointer control color. So finally, I'm going to go back to the settings again, the main settings menu, and I'm going to move to general and then trackpad and mouse. And again, this may not show unless you are connected to the dongle. And here for the tracking speed, I'm going to make sure that it's turned all the way to 0 down by the turtle. Finally, I'm going to go back to settings and to display and brightness. And I'm going to turn my auto lock setting to never. And then all my settings have been adjusted. You can see here in the instructions that there is one additional setting when you're setting up an iPad for mirroring. This doesn't apply on iPhone. So make sure if you're using an iPad, you do also change the pointer control animations to be off. All right, now that all these settings have been adjusted, it's time to calibrate. So in order to do that, the iPhone mirroring window must be fully unobstructed. So what that means is on the SGD, make sure that the mirroring window here is the top thing and it's clicked on. And then the phone needs to be on a screen where there's no yellow color because it's going to try to look for that yellow pointer. And so one screen where you can do that is in settings, open up general, and then about. And this screen has no color. And so it won't pick up any yellow. Next, I'm going to go to the iOS control program over here. And under settings, I'm going to click on the mouse tab. And then I'm going to click on auto calibrate. And again, you can see here it's reminding you that the pointer must be the only yellow, and then it's going to check the phone orientation and run the other calibration steps, which will all be displayed in the text on the left side, and you'll see when it finishes. All right, you can see it saved the calibration and the calibration has been finished. So the final thing is to test if the calibration was accurate by clicking around in the mirrored phone screen. So I'm going to take my mouse here and I'm going to click on the M in model, and you can see the yellow moved right to it. Next, I'm going to click on the 8 in the 8,513 photos. I'm going to click on the A in Abigail. Let's go back. And I'm going to click on the A in available. So you can see that where I'm clicking is accurate and the pointer is moving to where I'm clicking. You can also see that I'm now able to control my phone using my mouse. So when I click on things, it's activating those on my screen. So now the iPhone is ready to be used with iPhone mirroring. I'll go to my assistive touch button and click on home. You can also use our home screen button here if you're in the settings, and the person can use their eye tracking to get to the home screen this way. They can also use these left and right arrows to swipe between the screens on their phone. And otherwise, they'll either use their Windows Access software from Communicator 5 or Grid 3 or another Windows software, or in this case, TD Control is turned on my eye tracker. And so I'm going to go ahead and activate the TD Control just so I can show you a little bit about controlling the phone using my eye. All right, you can see my traces here. So one thing is I might want to minimize my visor window so that this background visor window, so that all I see is my phone screen. That can reduce some of the clutter. I can also close out of the settings window. You do need to have both visor and the iOS control program running in order to control the phone with eye tracking. But once you're here, you can really navigate around your phone to get to all kinds of things. So if I want to open Safari, I'm going to look at it and use TD Control to click. That will open up a window. Oh, I was on my Bridging Voice website. And then I can also scroll using the TD Control scrolling. So if I look in the center of the screen, and I choose scrolling. Now, if I look towards the top and the bottom, this isn't a very long web page, so it doesn't have far to go. But if I look towards the top and the bottom, I can go ahead and scroll around. If the scroll is moving too quickly, there are settings to adjust how fast the scroll moves. Those are under settings. And then here you can see the scrolling speed, and then if it's flipped. What flipped means is if you're looking up and it's scrolling down, or you're looking down and it's scrolling up, so it's scrolling the opposite direction than you expect, you're going to want to change the check mark for flipped. And then if it's scrolling too quickly, that's where someone may want to adjust the scroll speed here by moving the slider. So I'm going to move it about halfway down. And then I'm going to try my scrolling speed again. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the center of the web page, choose scroll, and go ahead and scroll up and down using my eyes. When I look down, it moves down. When I look up, it moves up. And I can use the X when I'm finished scrolling. If I want to open up our Bridging Voice website about 11 Labs, I can click here. There we go. And then again, I can use the scroll. This is a longer web page, so it'll be a little easier to see the scroll speed. There we go. There's my voice. There's Deborah. And here are the FAQs. So once I find what I want to read, I can close out of it and then use the mouse control to click on things. And you can see as I click with my eyes, the yellow pointer is also moving around. That's how I know that it's accurate for what I'm looking at.
Hey. So let me just get back into our PowerPoint over here. Okay. So the way I hope that video was clear to everyone. It was so well done. The pace, that video was 18 minutes. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, I think after about 15 installs, I was able to do it somewhere between 7 and 12 minutes is how long the setup takes, if everything is in place. And that's when we're doing it remotely. If someone's doing it on site, it can be even quicker. But what we'd like to do now is just open up a little bit, go over some of the highlights of the video, and then if anyone has any questions, let's try to get some of those answered now, and then we have just a couple of follow-up slides. But this will probably make it easier for everyone to just understand anything that's unclear at the moment. So again, the main points here are getting the necessary equipment, which of course the dongle and the data cable are the two most necessary pieces. During the setup, you're going to be installing Visor, which is the program that shows the iPhone on the screen of the SGD. You're going to be installing Bridging Voice iOS control program, that's the software that lets your SGD control the iPhone. You're going to be setting up the dongle, a very important step. You're going to be setting up the iPhone Bluetooth and assistive touch settings. Those settings on the iPhone are crucial to this working. There's the mouse calibration, which is a quick process to make sure everything is working, and then testing and using. The good news, everyone, it sounds like a really complicated setup, but the really good news is that of the people that have been set up and are using it, we don't go through these steps again. It's very rarely did we ever have to do one of these initial steps over. Once it's working, all they have to do to get it on is start Visor, start the iOS control, and start using their iPhone. They don't even have to do a calibration a second time. So it's proven to be reliable. But if anyone has any questions, we are going to I'll stop the share. And if anyone has any questions, maybe you could ask them now. Let's go through the chat and see what we have here. Okay, don't forget. Oh, Trinity's saying, don't forget to mention the website. Yes, within time frame. So I don't get into trouble, I'm not going to say exactly how many weeks, but in a couple of weeks, we're going to have our website up and running, which is going to have all of this. The guide, the videos, the guides, a really unbelievable fact section, which is going to help you figure out, like, when this happens, what do I do? What's wrong? Because we already have a document that's just so long and so helpful to just make it easy to get past some of those. How can we tell if a cable is a data cable or charging cable only? You can't usually tell from the cable itself. So when purchasing a cable, you can know when you're setting up our software, Visor in particular, when you plug in the data cable, and you've installed that Apple mobile device kit, if it's a data cable, when you plug in the iPhone, Windows is going to come up with a message that an Apple iPhone has been connected. Once you see that message, you know you're good. You've got a data cable. If you don't see that message, likely the issue is it's not a data cable. Oh, good. And Lane answered that question over there in the chat. Look at that. Okay. That's also true. Just hearing the noise. I'm not 100% sure, although we've all been saying that for a while. I'm just not 100% sure that that's true. We'll see. Okay. Have you found that the Bluetooth connection to the dongle is generally pretty stable? I'm thinking of issues I've had in the past with Bluetooth connection for texting being pretty challenging and needing lots. We have not run into any issues with this at all. This, by the way, because it really is our own custom software in here. It's an external dongle, an external Bluetooth, which makes it like connecting a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse to an iPhone. I doubt you've seen too many times where an external mouse to an iPad or an iPhone had problems. Like that's a really solid connection. So I haven't seen anything yet. I've probably seen 40 installs, so I don't think we've heard of this from anyone. So, okay.
There was another question about can this be used with a head mouse or switch?
Yes, so it can. With a head mouse easily. With a switch, it can also be used. It all just depends on what you're using for Windows control with that switch. So I think we mentioned on the last training, like if someone's using a radar control or any sort of Windows control at all, if you've got access to a browser and to apps that are on that Windows PC, you'll be able to control this as well without a problem.
The next question was, could someone connect multiple devices to an SGD? And I answered in the chat, but I'll let you share your insight too, Nacho.
An iPhone and an iPad or two iPhones? No, not yet. Let's keep that.
You could connect both of them, right? But you can't run them at the same time.
Right.
How
Right.
about this? Once you get at least 10 clients up and running with just the iPhone and you want to add a second one, we're happy to discuss it. I think we're taking it one step at a time. We want to see a lot of people being able to do this. And we really want to hear everyone's feedback on this call as you guys start doing this. And then sort of as the feedback comes in, version 2.0 can be in the works. But this is up and ready to go.
Okay. And I'll tell you, just to give a little bit of an understanding why I want to say no for the moment, is just because I myself ran into a couple of issues over the past couple of weeks when I was testing, where because the dongle had been paired to a different device, I couldn't pair it to the other one, and I was getting really confused. Like once you're trying to pair something to two different devices, it's just gonna cause confusion. So you probably would like to stay away from that. And as Karina said, if we find a big need in a month or two, we'll look at it.
Another question was, are there any specifications needed for the USB hub? Yes,
No.
it just okay.
Yeah, any basic USB hub is going to work. Nothing should. You don't need necessarily any power in there. It should really, the most basic hub should work for this. Just make sure you've got the right ports.
Someone asked, can you use only the cable with the Visor app and still control the iOS phone?
You can, I think I understand the question. That means you can still control the phone. Wait, can you use only the cable with Visor app and still control? Can you be a little more specific there? I just don't want to answer something that's not answering the question. We'll get back.
While they're typing too,
Hello,
Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Hello, my name is Boka. I'm a technologist. I seen people use Visor with just the app and the cable. So is that still an option?
Well, you can use Visor, but you're not gonna be able to control an iPhone just using Visor. That means you can control an Android with Visor, without anything special, but an iPhone can't be controlled by Visor.
Okay. Uh, so you have the dongles, for example, from other fruit. There are other dongle or other, I mean, I think a bit, so I seen that there are other options, but maybe that's not for this session. Would like to maybe explore those as well.
Yeah, no problem. And we're not, we don't make money off of this, so it's anyone who has another option is totally fine. There have been options out there. Visor themselves seem to have an option with a dongle. We were unable to get it to work, so that's why we created this thing for 2 years. I think after we started seeing how complex it was to develop this, we understood why their dongle wasn't working because it's an open source thing also. So it's and there are software options also that I've seen a couple of years ago, software options to do iPhone mirroring. But again, I couldn't get it to work. I actually know of a few people that tried it. One of them got it to work, but like 4 or 5 didn't. So
Okay.
we're trying to make something that you could really depend on.
Yeah. So what's the link with the control, the voice controller?
No.
So look like you have 3 different kind of software, hardware integrating, right? Or is it because on the presentation they were another controller to download
Right.
beside the Visor app? No?
There's one other. There's the Visor app, and then there's our software called iOS Control.
Okay.
That's the one that gives you control of the iPhone.
Okay.
So it's 2 pieces of software. That's it.
And a hardware, the dongle as well.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
What are we up to, Lane? I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Let's see. People were asking about is the control software live and on the site, but we'll post, Abby responded, Trinity responded. We'll post the information about where the website will be, the link in a couple of slides, and we don't have a set date just yet.
But
Trinity put in the link,
But
the mirroring.
Nahum, are we able to send that out to our referral partners if they request it now, to just send it to
yes.
them directly?
No, we are. I mean, that's what Trinity said, right? That there is the iOS mirroring. I'm sorry. Do we know if the iOS mirroring has it yet? Because if it doesn't, we're going to send the link that Abby has to our software. We are going to make that available here so that people can download the software and start installing. So we are going to make available the guide, a link to the software, and the purchasing guide. So you can get started 5 minutes after this session is over.
And then that was another question asking about how do we have access to do this with our clients? So question answered there.
But one thing I'm going to jump in, this is Trinity, is that so for some of you that didn't attend the first training, I think a lot of these answers are coming up from the questions that you guys, when you didn't attend the first training. So I just want to let you know. So Lane, can we pause Q&A for just a minute and can we jump to those slides? Because I think it's going to answer a lot of questions that are coming up right now. So Nahum, let's do the slides and then come back to some of these questions.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna this is really important. Who and how we can help. So anyone with ALS Bridging Voice can provide free support with the install, setup, and training. We can do everything here. And, so if somebody wants to have iPhone mirroring installed, they can come to us and we will take care of that. Obviously, if someone's a sales rep and you're installing other things for the ALS patient and they want iPhone mirroring, you'll know how to do this yourself, and it'll probably be worth your while to just go and install it and show them how to use their iPhone when you're setting up their device. For non-ALS patients and diagnoses, so the software download is going to be free. The instructions are going to be on our website, and there's going to be free access to documents and guides to make you successful. We're not going to be able to provide support for that, but we will make sure that there's enough information available. And, as things happen, as we see bugs on the ALS front, we're going to be updating the website. So it's likely that you will be well informed about how to make this work for anyone, but we just won't be able to provide that support because our funding is only for ALS patients. And for everyone will have the ability to report issues to Bridging Voice, and we will be listening, and we'll have access to free updates in the future. So as we go and develop the program further, people will have access to the updates. So to get started with your clients, we recommend scheduling a session after your clients have the dongle and the data cable. Just make sure they've got those two pieces, because otherwise we can't get started. And throw in the Apple ID in there, please. And then contact Bridging Voice if you need any help, and we can schedule a session with them, again, ALS patients. Coming soon, which soon means somewhere 2 to 4 weeks, let's just say. Our website will be up with everything you need there to be able to download the software, the guides, the FAQs, and tips and tricks and troubleshooting guides. Everything will be up there to make sure that you really have your best shot at getting this working. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back before we end that.
And Nahum, I just want to clarify too, after this training, everyone will receive an email with the video for how to do this, the link to get the program for download, and instructions. So everyone on this call will have access to start doing this right away. The website, the delay is the website going up publicly for additional people to access. But since you attended this training, you will have access to all of that immediately.
Perfect. And let's see, what other questions do we have over here?
Lisa asked, have you tested this with eye gaze users who are using an external switch for click selection? So gaze and switch.
We haven't tested it with them. There is absolutely no reason it shouldn't work, because that's really straight eye tracking. It's just the activation is through a switch. Yeah, I'd eat my hat if that didn't work. Okay.
And what is the best way to report bugs or technical issues?
Well, we're going to have a place on the website for that. But I guess in the meantime, you could use info@bridgingvoice.org, and but there will be a special place on the website, a link for that. Okay. You don't have to purchase the dongle from that specific link. DigiKey is fine. It's just you do really want to make sure you get that exact dongle. So Adafruit are the ones who make it. So just happens to be you're buying it from the source when you buy it from Adafruit. But your DigiKey is fine. I actually a bunch that I bought were actually from DigiKey, just so in case you want to feel more comfortable about that. Oh, sorry, Trinity. Should I read these answers?
Christine has a
Um,
question, Nahum. When you do training to the end user, are you walking people through the install or are you taking over their devices?
Taking over their devices. No, when we install it, we're going to install it and just make it work. And we're going to spend let's say it's going to take us, let's say average 10 to 15 minutes to install, and then we're going to want to spend another 15, 20 minutes showing them how to get things started, some of the tips and tricks on how to actually use this. And there are some really cool tips and tricks that you all get so excited about. But I'm going to hold it in just, we don't really have much time, so let's just get through the Q&A for now. Oh, that's it. I'm at the end.
And
Okay.
so, Nahum, can I just say one more thing?
Yes.
I just want everyone to sort of be clear on the call, sort of our vision for this. You guys, as most of people on this call are referral partners, practitioners that work closely with us. Our dream is that there's a whole army out there that has the ability to do this for their clients. That just means more ALS clients and non-ALS clients getting this incredible program. So you should have all the resources to do that now. If you need support, if you have an ALS patient who is a Bridging Voice client, we are happy to hop on the call with you and walk you through that so that you can learn. But in order to get this out and have the maximum impact with this program, we need our partners, our practitioners, able to do this eventually on their own. So that is really our dream. But we are more than happy to support you. So do not be intimidated. If you need support, that is why Bridging Voice is here. And that is also why we're creating an entire website for this so that more and more people can access outside this small circle, this information, and use it for every ALS client that wants it and every diagnosis that wants it. And we think that this can be really impactful even beyond our ALS community. So that is why we are creating the website as well.
Perfect. Any last questions?
Malcolm, finish your slides.
Oh, there really wasn't, there was the office.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes, there's some important stuff in there.
Okay.
And the other one you do need to control Z, Nahum.
I do?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Control Z. There we go. Okay.
So this one, the information is not quite right. You don't return anything to Trinity. Oh,
I'm sorry, okay, let's do the open office hours. So everyone should be aware that every Tuesday at 4:30 Eastern time, we have open office hours where caregivers, ALS patients, practitioners, sales reps, everyone, vendors come to open office hours with any questions they have about eye trackers, and the amount of knowledge that's on that call is unbelievable. We have a few ALS patients that are just masters of their technology, and they're helping others both understand the technology better. Every once in a while, the conversation will move into a different direction, but just an amazing opportunity to ask anything and everything you want about eye tracking or access, and you've got them all on that one call over there. So it's great in case anyone wants to register for that. Upcoming trainings. We have a bunch of trainings coming up over the next couple of months. Optimizing eye gaze after eye health changes. We have a nice training that's going to be on 11 labs. And we have a joint presentation with Richard Cave and the MND Association. And then we have another one coming up, alternative access to Android for communication. And to get and see any of our recorded trainings, you can all go to our YouTube channel and you can see all of our previous trainings. And the last slide, am I not doing the last slide?
Yes, you are.
you can.
Oh.
Let me just correct. So it says here, fill out the attestation and return to Trinity, there's nothing to return. When you go to the link that Trinity has put into the chat for attendance, it will take you to a form. And when you complete the form, you'll get the certificate of attendance emailed to you, and you'll hold on to that to use it for your professional development credits. You don't need to send anything back to Trinity. Only use her email if you have a question about something.
Okay, look at that, 4 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. And just please, lots of feedback. Anything you want, any questions or answers or feedback, please let us know.
We want to hear how it goes. Send us your stories. Bye, everyone. Thank you.